Hey guys, it's Allie and Jen from Michigan Another Mayhem.
Just over a year ago, Allie asked me if I wanted to create a podcast.
And we had no idea what we were doing.
Luckily, we chose Anchor as our platform.
It's a free, and there are creation controls that allow you to record and edit your podcast right on your phone.
You just have to press a couple buttons. Just a couple buttons.
I know. I don't want to do the beep. Anchor distributes your podcast so that it can be heard on other platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and more.
It does that for us. It also provides us with the opportunity to make money right away.
It's everything you need in one place.
Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
It's as easy as that, what we did right there.
All right, but next time I get to pick what we do.
I know, I wanted to surprise you. You trooper.
You're welcome.
Okay, thanks. Are you from the state of Michigan? Or have you heard of the state of Michigan? Here at Michigan and Other Mayhem, two non-professional researchers will intrigue you with interesting stories about Michigan, murder mysteries, odd facts, and other mayhem from around the world. Two sisters-in-law will keep you... Sisters-in-law? Yeah, anyway. We'll keep you guessing about what our next subject will be as we discuss true crime, paranormal, historical, and scientific topics. Our weekly podcast will keep you entertained and possibly titillated. Hello?
Hello.
I don't know where the other one went.
Hmm.
I know. But hello, Jen.
Hello.
You want me to cue fake podcast music? Da-da-da-da-da-da.
Dun, dun. I can't believe you remembered.
I know. That's not exactly my specialty. So what's been going on with you?
Nothing. My friend just dropped off homemade blueberry coffee cake. I almost
What?
canceled this recording because, I mean,
You
I
need to
had
eat
two
it?
pieces, but
Yeah.
I'm thinking I could eat the rest. This
Right.
is actually probably helpful. It
Well,
was
this is
so
just
good.
giving you a chance for the first part to start to digest before you eat the second part.
Right. Because
Yeah.
I plan on doing nothing after this is over but eat coffee cake until it's gone.
God, I would too. I bet it is just perfect. I mean,
It
homemade
is.
blueberry coffee cake. Yeah.
What have you been up to?
Nothing. Literally a lot of staying home. A lot of staying home. And when, I shop for my dad because he's bedridden. And so your brother and I have started to just go out at the same time. And one of us has a cart that's for our house, and one of us has a cart that's for his house. And then we just get all the groceries.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah. Because you don't want to go out a second time to go get your groceries. Once you're already at the grocery store getting groceries. I one time tried to fit it all in one cart, and let's just say that was a fail, to the point where I had to call somebody from one of those little emergency phones and let them know that I dropped a creamer and that it spilled all over the place.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. I was just lucky. It literally broke right by the phone. So, phew. At least I didn't have to leave a giant puddle of creamer somewhere
Right?
while I ran and looked for a phone. Yeah. So literally highlight of my week is the grocery shopping.
Mine's blueberry coffee cake.
Yeah.
And the
Well,
fact that I'm still in my pajamas and currently just sitting in bed with the heater on.
Ooh, yeah, it did. Yeah. So what I've been doing is, do you know I like old martial arts films?
Yeah.
So your brother, okay, so there's a couple of apps that you can watch on your TV that you can stream TV through. And one is Pluto, which I think I've been telling you about, that I watch a lot of Forensic Files on that one. Well, another one is like Tubi or Tubby, Tubi. And it has so many old martial arts movies that, your brother, I'm just lucky that he doesn't mind me watching, 6 in a row or whatever.
That's great.
Yeah. But so today my article is going to be about the Shaw brothers, who literally produced 1,000 martial arts films.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And mine takes us out of Muskegon. Even though, Muskegon's my favorite.
I know that is your place.
Yeah, it takes us to Berkley, Michigan for the murder of Michael Smith.
Michael Smith.
I'm going to let you go first, though.
Oh, yeah? Okay,
Yeah.
I can do that. Mine does have some murder, but it's just a fictional characters. Although I am working on this article that does Upper Peninsula murders from like the 1800s. I didn't realize that the land of 1800 Upper Peninsula murders were just so fertile. Let me just tell you.
Wow. Yeah, we
Yeah.
never guessed.
Well, what happened was I did an ebook from the library, and I was like, all right, let's just see what they have to say. And they're like, murder, murder, murder. Old timey murder. And I was like, okay, I guess.
All right.
All right. So I'm going to talk about the Shaw Brothers, and I got the info from Wikipedia, the ShawBrothersUniverse.com, and IMDb. All right. So the Shaw Brothers they're from Shanghai, China. And I'm not 100% sure I'm saying their names right, so forgive me. Their names are Runyi, Runmi, Rundi, and Run. I guess they were named purposefully, that naming convention, by their dad.
Okay.
That their names all sound similar. So the oldest brothers first created a movie studio in 1925. And by 1958, they were known, like everybody already knew about the Shaw Brothers. And in the 1960s, they had the largest privately owned studio in the world.
Wow.
I know, dude. That's when they produced at that time, about 1,000 fucking movies. I was like, wow. So that they are still in operation, and they've been in operation continuously now for 80 years. So one of their most popular movies is The Five Deadly Venoms. Have I ever talked to you about that movie?
No.
It is one of my favorite, although I do like my Bruce Lee, but it is a movie that your brother bought me one time when I was in the hospital. And at one point, a doctor had come in the room, but didn't pull the curtain back, but was like in the room behind our curtain. And I said, you can come in, And she said, oh, I was just trying to figure out what movie you were listening to. And I was like, The Five Deadly Venoms. And she was like, oh. I was like, yeah. So the 6 main characters in the movie, The Five Deadly Venoms, became known as the Venom Mob, and they starred in other successful Shaw Brother movies. And The Five Deadly Venoms, it's one of my all-time favorites. And I'm also going to talk about another Shaw movie that has the Venom Mob in it, but it has like a questionable title. And it's 2 questionable titles. So I was like, I'll just save it for when we get there so I don't have to keep saying the name of the title over and over again.
Okay.
Okay, so The Five Deadly Venoms came out in August of 1978. Imagine this, okay? The martial arts master of the Poison Clan is dying. And he's worried that his powerful fighting skills that he taught his first 5 pupils is going to be used for evil. And they're powerful. So he's like, nobody's going to be able to stop them. So he teaches a 6th student all 5 of the fighting techniques. And he tells them the weakness of each student's fighting style. All right.
Okay.
And so number 6 is referred to as hybrid venom because he knows a little bit of everybody's fighting style, but he's not the master that they are. Right. I just want to make sure we know who that guy is.
All right.
Okay. So the poison master warns this dude, Yoon, right? He goes, hey, Yoon, you might be in danger. One of my 5 students might be coming after you because they might want some of the money that you got by using the clan skills to assassinate people. And so then the poison clan master tells hybrid venom number 6, student number 6, about his first 5 students. So here's why the 5 students are such a mystery. You never see their faces. They're always in a mask. They never say their names. They only go by their fighting style. They don't share information. And that's it. Like, so you never know who they are. You just know that they're out there, but you just don't know who they are.
Okay.
And the 5 pupils are centipede, snake, scorpion, lizard, and toad. All right.
Toad.
Yeah. And if you are a Power Rangers watcher,
nope.
Those are going to mean something to you. Oh, was Brandon a Power Rangers kid?
I think he did watch Power Rangers a bit.
Okay. So those are the 5 students, and none of them. Okay. But a couple of the students know each other. So you find out that this is like, seriously, the first time I watched it, I'm writing all this down. So you find out that centipede and snake know who each other is, and lizard and toad know each other, but nobody knows who scorpion is. And like the guys that know each other don't know who the other 3 are. Right.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's kind of confusing.
No,
I literally wrote it down the first time. Okay. So in order to stop the bad students, the poison clan master says, hey, hybrid venom, you need to find one of my students that's a good guy and then team up against the bad ones, with the good guy, because you only know part of everybody's skill, even though you know everybody's skill.
This is the only thing I can do to stop my teachings from being used from evil. And hybrid Venom's like, all right, dude, I'm on it. So sure enough, that dude Yoon, that he was like, hey, you might want to watch out. I think one of my students might come and get you. He was murdered. And when he wouldn't tell where the money is, his whole family was slaughtered by somebody from the Poison Clan.
Wow.
So, yeah. And the person that killed that guy's family figured out who the Toad was, figured out which guy was Toad. And knowing what his weakness was, kills Toad. And guess what else?
What?
I can't tell you because the rest is fucking awesome. It literally has murder. And I don't mean like somebody got kung fu to death. I mean, he was straight murdered by another person. There's intrigue. There's betrayal. There's this long and awesome kung fu fight at the end, right? You find out who the centipede is, who the snake is, who the scorpion is, who the lizard is, who's bad, who's good, who won't, people stabbing people in the back, literally. And then they all go melee on each other. And then unlike a lot of the martial arts films that I watch, this one actually has a happy ending. The two good guys win and everything's wrapped up nicely in the end. They take the money that the bad guy had stolen and give it to like an orphanage.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, recently your brother and I watched this movie where like the good guy died, his woman died, and the bad guy died. But I'm like, everybody's dead. They're just all just like they're dead. I'm like, damn. Okay, now here's the movie that has the questionable title, which I know some people get sensitive about. And I also, unfortunately, used the R word a couple of times on accident. Do you know what word that is?
No.
Retarded. I'm not supposed to say that anymore. And I say that, I'm like, oh gosh, I'm sorry. I don't mean to. I'm just an old person. But here's another one that people don't like. The movie sometimes is called The Crippled Avengers.
Okay.
Okay. It was also known as Mortal Kombat. See why that might be a problem?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. And they sometimes call it The Return of the Five Deadly Venoms, although it has nothing to do with the Venom movie at all.
Okay.
So it's very confusing. So this movie came out in 1978, but it wasn't released in the U.S. till 1981. My sister Cassie was 1 year old. So that means you were not born yet, were you? No.
You said 1981.
Yeah.
That's when I was born.
That is the year you were born. Okay. Well, it's because you were born in the middle of the year and your brother's born at the end of the year, and it just confuses me with the years. Okay, so both these two movies share the four of the main actors. And the plot's, okay, it's a little something like this. There's this that guy's name is, I'm going to say it wrong, but Chu Twin. And he comes home and he finds his wife murdered. And his son had both his arms cut off below the elbow. And he constructs these iron arms for his son and he trains him in the tiger style of Kung Fu. This guy's a master, right? But they're actually a bunch of assholes. These aren't really two bad guys, okay? They're dickheads, all right? And they just are brutal and horrible to the people in the village that they rule over, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this dude, this blacksmith, talks back to Chu, and so Chu makes him drink this poison, which I don't know how this happens, but it took away his ability to speak, right? It made him mute. And then the blacksmith still is like giving him dirty looks and still trying to fight him. So Chu deafens him with a double ear clap, which I used to threaten my daughter with when she was little. Where you just like slap your hands on both sides of their head. I used to be like, I will double ear clap you. I swear to God, bitch, I will make you deaf. But she knew I was playing. But then Chu's son, who's also a dickhead, the kid with the iron arms, who's now a man with an iron arms, he blinded this traveling hawker, like a traveling salesman, and then had another dude's legs cut off below the knee because he bumped into his son.
Jesus.
Some guy bumped into him. Yeah, so I'm telling you, these guys are real dicks, right? So this young Kung Fu master comes trotting around, sees these three guys, one dude that's deaf and mute, another guy who's blind, another dude who's missing his legs below the knee, and he decides, like, that's it. I'm going to have to, like, for your honor, fight for you. He got his ass whipped. And then they decide to, so the bad guys actually whoop the good guy's ass, and then they decide to, in order to punish him, like crush his skull in this like device. And the guy lives, but he's unable to communicate, and he always acts like a little kid, like he's senseless almost. So together, the four men travel and they find this Kung Fu master willing to train them. And each of the four fighters train to enhance the remaining senses and strengthen their perceived weaknesses. So iron legs are made for the dude with the double amputee.
Mm-hmm.
And he learns to walk and he fights with his new prosthetics. Now he's badass, right? First, he has to learn how to get the strength to move his iron legs. And then he's like fucking chopping down trees with his kicks, right? So the blacksmith, he's deaf and he's mute and he learns sign language and he wears a He wears a shiny metal bracelet to use as a mirror to see behind him. The blind dude, the blind traveling salesman, his hearing is so acute, he can hit a falling leaf with a dart. Okay, so everybody turns into a badass, right? And the dude with the crushed skull just fucks around because he's still really childlike. So there's tons of fighting. It gets to the very end. And everybody has to use their special abilities, right? So Chu's son with the iron arms used to previously fuck everybody up because if a dude with iron arms hits you, that's going to break your bones, right?
Right.
But Q, the dude with the iron legs who comes in like, no, bitch. So they're like, all right, well, let's see who has the best kung fu. Iron legs wins. Good guy wins. And in the end, only the guy with the crushed skull is killed. The blind guy was about to be killed and he sacrificed himself to save the blind guy.
Ah.
I know. And like I said, a rare martial arts is where everybody lives. All the good guys live. Very rare. Usually the bad guys are near death or dying when it ends. And I'm like, okay. So what are the characters that the popular movies share? So the hybrid Venom, his real name is Chang Shang. And he played the guy with the crushed skull. So the guy that played hybrid Venom in the movie, the first 5 Deadly Venoms, played the crushed skull guy in the Crippled Avengers movie. Lu Fang, the dude that played Centipede, he plays Centipede and he plays the guy with the iron arms. Okay, the actor that played Toad, his real name is Mang Lo. He also played the deaf mute blacksmith guy. And the Crippled Avengers is one of the few movies in which the Mang Lo played a character that didn't die in the end. This guy was famous for dying. And I think that there's an actor named Sean Bean who is also known for dying in his movies.
I like how you
can
be famous for dying in your movies.
Yeah, well, like you're in this movie, you're always in this great movie, and you're the guy that dies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So the lizard in the 5 Deadly Venoms was played by this guy named Philip. It's Kwok. I don't know how to say that, but he also played the blind hawker, and the scorpion Chen Xian was the guy with the iron legs. So the guy that played Scorpion played the guy with the iron legs. So here's the cool part: Pei Wei. He played the snake in 5 Deadly Venoms, but he didn't have a role in the Avengers movie. And his role for the snake, it was actually intended for a woman in the 5 Deadly Venoms movie. And in 2008, the Power Rangers, that's why I was like, Power Rangers, created a Jungle Fury group. They paid homage to the 5 Deadly Venoms with their 5 poison fingers, is what the Power Rangers called it. And the poison fingers were centipede, snake, scorpion, lizard, and toad, just like the movie. And the Power Rangers did have the character of a snake played by a female, though. Just like they originally intended. So Ranker had 5 Deadly Venoms listed as the 3rd best martial arts movie of all time, right after Enter the Dragon and Return of the Dragon, which both have Bruce Lee. And I get it.
Have you seen those?
Oh, yeah. The first man I ever had a crush on was Bruce Lee. And my dad was always like the practical dad. I was like, Dad, I love Bruce Lee. And he just looked at me. He's like, he's dead. I was like, okay.
All right.
So Entertainment Weekly has the 5 Deadly Venoms ranked as 11th, the 11th best cult film ever. And Crippled Avengers is number 12 on Ranker's list. So there's a lot of rap songs that take sound bites out of the 5 Deadly Venoms and a lot of martial arts movies. As a matter of fact, you know how Layla loves the Wu-Tang Clan?
Yep.
Wu-Tang is actually another Chinese martial arts style, and they used to make what's called Wu-Tang movies. And that's where the band got their name from, were the martial arts movies.
Oh.
Yes, that's where it came from. Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing to fuck with. So Tupac Shakur released an album in 1993 with a track that was called 5 Deadly Venoms. And Wu-Tang Clan released a song called The Mystery of Chess Boxing, which is a martial arts movie. And the portion of The Mystery of Chess Boxing, a portion of that song's intro, is the voice of the Poison Master talking to the hybrid Venom, discussing Toad's abilities. So you can hear him talking, and it's him discussing what the Toad can do. Mm-hmm. And ODB, Oh Dirty Bastard, from Wu-Tang Clan, has a song called Return of the 36 Chambers, and that's also a Shaw Brother movie. I was like, uh-huh. And the intro of the song is the Poison Master telling the hybrid venom about the snake style of fighting. So when the song starts, you hear the Poison Master talking about the snake style.
Huh.
Yeah, there are so many other rap songs I could have talked about that include martial arts voice clips because they're badass movies. Okay.
Yeah, I never realized that.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm delighted, and your brother lets me.
There you go.
No? Yes. Tell me about somebody's Michael Smith's murder.
All right, Michael Smith, Berkley, Michigan. This happened on December 19th, 2002.
Okay.
Oakland County Police were called to an area on Oak Hill Road. It's just north of the city of Berkley.
Okay.
A resident of the area was actually out collecting bottles in the ditch running down the road, and he stumbled upon a dead body.
Okay, did I ever tell you I knew a dude when I was in high school that was such a penny pincher? If he was driving and he saw bottles on the side of the road, he would stop the car, get out, and pick it up.
Really?
Yeah.
I wonder if he's
That's
rich.
why you're like looking. I know you're like looking for bottles on the side of the road. I've heard of that.
Right?
Yes.
To identify the body, the police put a description of the male on the news. The wife, Rebecca Smith, called the police and identified him by one of his tattoos.
Oh, shit.
Michael was age 30, married with one child previous to his marriage, and 2 children with Rebecca.
Okay.
He was previously in the Navy.
All right.
From what I gathered, he had a drinking addiction.
Okay.
Is what I gathered.
Okay.
His wife stated to the police that Michael was going to Florida to enter a rehabilitation center by his family.
All right.
She had dropped him off at the bus station about a week before his body was found.
Oh.
And
Oof.
she hadn't heard from him. She called his family. They hadn't heard from him.
Okay.
And he had a track record of disappearing for periods of time, so she didn't think anything of it. You know, that nobody had seen him. So at this point, all the police know is he was murdered between December 9th and December 19th. He was supposed to be traveling to Florida, and no one had heard from him. That's all they knew.
Okay.
On January 2nd, 2003, a co-worker of Michael's called the police and stated there was a chance Michael was having an affair with a man.
Ooh.
He was previously seen drunk at a gay bar. After investigation, you know, the police investigated it. It was found to be false, and he was just drinking there. You know.
Oh, okay. Hey, open bar, drinks for drinks.
Yep. Right?
Yeah.
After the examination of the body and the review of the weather conditions, because this December in 2002 was warmer than normal, it was determined that he was actually killed and then his body was frozen prior to dumping it in the ditch.
Oh, okay.
Rebecca told police that she had worked with a guy named Randy, and he seemed to be romantically interested in her, is what she claimed.
Okay.
He did hunt. And,
Yep.
Owned the right caliber gun that had killed Michael.
Okay.
Randy was there, at this point, their lead suspect, until he passed the polygraph. And the reason why she points out that he hunts is because obviously his body was frozen. Who has big freezers but people that hunt?
Right. You know, because you put a whole deer carcass away, you need some space.
Yep.
Yes.
So now Rebecca travels, you know, the investigation's ongoing. Rebecca travels to Florida because this is where Michael's memorial is going to be, where his family's located.
Okay.
This is when the family of Michael notices things she was saying didn't match what she told police.
Oh, shit.
Yep. So enter Michael's cousin, who becomes an informant for the police.
Oh, nice.
A few weeks later, Rebecca comes back and the police talk to her. This is where her story changes multiple times. Again, example, like now she claims Michael came back. So she dropped him off at the bus station. Then Michael came back and she takes him actually to the bus station the following morning.
Okay, so she's like, well, wait. I didn't take him on Monday. So I took him on Monday, right? Yeah, he came back, so I took him again on Tuesday.
Yeah, and one of the reasons why she switched her story was because police pointed out that to get to the bus station, you had to pass the grandparents' house where the kids were supposedly at. Why wouldn't, if Michael was leaving, why wouldn't you stop? Why wouldn't he stop and say goodbye to his kids?
Oh, great point.
And so then this is where that story, where she now takes that new turn.
She's trying to explain it now with a new story. Okay, I get it.
Yep.
Okay.
So Rebecca takes a polygraph and surprise, surprise, she fails.
Failed.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Rebecca was arrested for her husband's murder. And while in jail, this is so good. And I Googled it. I searched it. I wanted to find this so bad, but I could not find it. Still on my list. I still randomly searched for it. Is that she was, while in jail, waiting for her trial, she writes a letter to her friend. And she asks her friend to write a letter from a gay lover confessing to the murder. It was very detailed letter stating exactly how it happened, which matched the murder of Michael.
Are you kidding
me? It only had things that the killer would have known.
No, she just outed herself.
She still says she's not guilty. On November 20, 2007, she was found guilty of second-degree murder and sentenced to 30 to 60 years in prison.
Yeah, probably because she's guilty as hell.
Oh, my God, I wanted to get a copy of that letter. Like, how in the hell? And what are you thinking? Like,
right? I know.
I couldn't even. I got to that point, looking up this story, and I had to stop for a minute. Like, I don't even know. Like, I have no words.
It's too much. Yeah.
I mean, hell, you were intelligent enough to somehow kill this man and freeze him and dump him. You did this all on your own. You had no help. And you literally, I feel like you have to have some level of intelligence to, figure out what in the hell are you going to do. And then you write a letter.
The landing, dude. Yeah. No, she failed to stick the landing. She did the cartwheel, she did the flip, she did the little twist, and she didn't stick the landing.
Right. Oh my goodness. I tell you.
She didn't get her story straight, and she had so much time.
Right? Oh goodness. Yep. It was. Yeah. That's great.
Yeah. She's keeping it interesting. Let me tell you.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Cool. All right. Well, I'll talk to you later, Jen.
All right. Bye.
All right. Bye.
Contact us at Anchor or Michigan and Other Mayhem at gmail.com or on Facebook to join the conversation, listen to the podcast, or correct us when necessary. Rate and subscribe to our podcast on your favorite podcast provider. Bye-bye now.